Hello, y'all. I am, according to people, the most egotistical bus enthusiast that is currently residing in Singapore. I think what most people don't understand, and I don't blame them for it, is that whatever I post, I am usually very subtle about things, like be it bus amendments or anything along those lines. So when something bad happens within the Singapore bus community, I have to be subtle about it as well. So I'm not gonna sit here and just say, oh, I didn't do this or I didn't do that. The matter of the fact is, in the past and even recently, I have actually leaked the real names or identities of people in order to protect myself. Like they tried to do something against me, they tried to make me look bad, they tried to unfairly, like let's say, pin things against me without knowing the full side of the story and stuff like that. Like, I have done that before and I own up to it. So, like, the more decent people within the Singapore bus community, they have, reminded me that I have to respect anonymity and people's boundaries as well, which is correct. So, when I try to bring said information that goes behind the scenes, so when I try to repackage all of that into a video, obviously I will be more subtle about it. And I wouldn't just tell you, oh, who is this guy's like, basically like who is, okay, what should I say? What is his real name? What is his real identity? And what is his account or stuff like that? You get what I mean? The reason why I do this is because if I actually spilled everything on a public site, like the whole world could actually see, like usually whenever I get into a conflict with those people, I resolve it usually on Facebook or via Messenger. And the difference is that on Facebook, yes, people could search for things, especially if it's like a public post, but it's a more controlled audience as compared to YouTube, where in the sense that like on YouTube, literally everyone with an internet access is able to see it if your video is set to public. So in short, if I spilled every single thing, I would be crossing people's boundaries. Like we have to respect them, right? Especially in this day and age. So I'm gonna say this once again. If you happen to know of what goes on behind the scenes, good for you. If you don't, then I'm sorry, there's like literally nothing else I could do. Otherwise, I would be infringing on people's boundaries that they set for themselves. Okay, more like the boundaries that the bus community at large sets for themselves and their members. Okay, this video is unscripted as usual. Apologies, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I often see myself being caught in the middle. Well, actually, no, because 99% of people are on this side. So in short, what I was trying to say is that if you happen to know like what really went on behind the scenes, then good for you. And as usual, for people who may not have a full understanding of like, or maybe don't even know at all what happened behind the scenes, I release information bit by bit in hopes that people will eventually be able to connect the dots. And I do this for like route amendment videos. I just say things very subtly. So it's a connect the dots thing. Like it definitely requires a lot of like prior knowledge about what has happened or what is happening. And obviously if you're a days old account that doesn't know what goes behind the scenes and you're only critiquing me because you took my video literally and you're only critiquing me based on what you see, like based on what you see, what I said, but you took it literally, then that's fair as well. Though I say things subtly, not because, oh, I'm a coward, I want to hide or anything, but it's all because of this. Like, do you guys actually expect me to leak every single route amendment detail? Or like, on a more serious note, make people look bad on a global stage when their identities are meant to be private in the first place. Now, obviously, if their name has appeared like on the newspaper, online news articles, or what, then okay. But you're talking about literal anonymous individuals. Now, this whole issue, I would like to say that I have committed it before, not because I want to, but because I had to protect myself. A lot of times when those bullies within the Singapore bus community, when you remove their layer of anonymity on the internet, they start to panic a little bit and start to like rethink their actions. Now, obviously, this is not the most moral, legal, ethical way to do things, but I'm just saying, based on experience, it tends to have an effect on those people who are doing said actions. Bottom line is, you shouldn't do it unless you are at danger of them, from them, basically. Like you are in danger because of their actions. And I will tell you this honestly, I did it. So every single time that I did it because I was legitimately in danger from those groups of people. But I never took it to YouTube. Okay, there were a few instances whereby, you know, in some videos I subtly or even I just mentioned the people and their identities. Yes, I think there are some instances. But it's because those people's identities are known. But for the most part, the ruling, how do I say it? It's that uh, the internet is a safe space for people to, come hang out together without telling people their real identities. Of course, there's always like the dangers and risks and everything along things along those lines. But the good thing about having such rules in place is that it protects people and their anonymous identity, because that's what the internet is made for. However, we can all agree that as a matter of fact, there are a lot of individuals who abuse, like outright abuse this privilege to bully people. And most often, like more often than not, they actually abuse these rules to your advantage in the sense that they hide behind these rules. They get like admins or moderators to ban them because their own identities have been doxed, but they carry on with their own bullying. So, and many at times I have often seen a lot of behavior like from the bus community in general, like especially from the younger ones. They are not okay with doxing, but they are okay with bullying in general. And that just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't sit right with me. Like, how could you excuse one but not the other? So obviously over time you would see more innocent bus enthusiasts and even those who are like willing to learn get bullied time and often, whereas no act like completely no action has been taken against these anonymous people online. So like just because somebody anonymous online has crossed my boundary or my friend's boundary, okay, for me I don't really have a lot of boundaries in some sense. I'm just a very open-minded person. Just because I see these people bullying others online, that doesn't necessarily mean I am allowed to break this boundary. It's only if it's serious enough or if those people's real identities are known, then I will actually say it. But depends on the severity of whatever's happening. If there is no reason to do it, then I just won't. So this is why, like, this is basically my response to why I choose to say things subtly without saying their real identities. Like when I say people or groups, when I say cloud chasing bus enthusiasts in general, that's the reason why I say it. But unfortunately, this kind of behavior from me has not sit well with people. I want to add on something. So if I say it subtly and those people are able to connect the dots, then they would at least be forewarned about the dangers of, like, say, getting recruited into the rogue buzz enthusiast cliques or groups, or befriend those questionable individuals in general. And you guys know why I have to keep things general, because of the boundaries rule. Like, in other words, the no doxing rule. People have over time reminded me about this rule. I just follow it. That's all. Now, I'm not making a video because I was triggered by this account. And people have said that, like, they said it to me that, like, I technically don't owe people an explanation, but I feel like whoever has seen that whole argument, that comment section argument between me and this nameless, faceless account, I feel that you guys deserve to know, like, why I do things, what has happened, and stuff like that. I'm just very open about myself in general. So I'm just gonna let you guys read through. Even if the comments that I make me look bad, I own them all. Whatever you're seeing on screen now is my true, unfiltered thoughts, as usual. Like, basically, I am a living thing. I experience emotions, like true, raw emotions. And I, as an individual, am not afraid to express it, to show myself to the entire world, because the entire world, as long as you have an internet connection, doesn't matter where you are able to see the comments that I put out online. So you cannot blame me for responding this way to an account whom I think is suspicious, because they were created literally days ago. And the first ever time I interacted with said account is, okay, the account's age at that time during the very first encounter was, I think, 5 hours, 5 hours, I think. So if you have done YouTube for quite some time, you would be suspicious of said accounts, right? Especially one that was created after you posted a controversial video, right? And once again, I'm not actually mad at this guy. I was just so confused by his replies. And I didn't even try hard for my replies. I just responded very, very naturally, like any other living thing would respond, if they had the brain capacity to know how to type, know how to understand sentences, languages, and stuff like that. And congratulations, I am indeed 26 years old. So the thing is, who do you believe? Like, you have a an account who has outright admitted to using ChatGPT, no matter how much they used it, versus me, who is just responding naturally. I don't want you guys to focus on the account that has said this. I'm just going to break down what has been said to me. So, the moment when this account said this, and judging by his account, their account's age, at that time, I got a little suspicious about why it was such a new account, and why the comment was made under a very specific video. Like, basically, I post a controversial video, and then this guy creates an account just to whack me, that kind of thing. So I naturally got suspicious about it. So I responded. Then he actually said, they actually said, sorry, I don't want to misgender people. So they said, I hear that you're passionate about preserving bus history and yada yada yada. That said, it's also fair for others to have different priorities, interests, or boundaries. Not everyone will chase the same cameos or document things the same way, and that doesn't automatically make them fake, lazy, or clout chasing. People interact with their hobbies differently, and that diversity doesn't have to be a bad thing. Nothing wrong with that. Regarding content use, yes, you've chosen to share your footage freely, but others may not be comfortable with that, and it is within their rights to set limits on how their work is used. You've acknowledged that already, but some of your criticisms still come across as dismissive of those boundaries. Again, nothing wrong with that. As for the rest, calling people out for being nameless or assuming superiority over them doesn't help the discussion. Everyone starts somewhere, and being newer or anonymous doesn't invalidate someone's viewpoint. Now, if anyone else would have said that, it would have been valid. But this is coming from an account that is just hours old who came at me like this, and then he starts saying, "Oh, I'm a new account, please have mercy on me. I am also entitled to my own opinions," which is not wrong, but it's like you tend to get a little bit suspicious of their like ulterior motive. In the end, if your goal is to encourage more appreciation for bus history, it might be more productive to lead by example than to attack others for not meeting basically my own standards. You're clearly committed to your craft. Just remember that people will be more willing to listen if the tone is constructive, not combative. So, as someone who has seen, witnessed what has been going on behind the scenes that this account probably doesn't know, many bus enthusiasts, like decent ones, they have already tried the constructive approach. Many years. It just never, ever works. I'm not trying to say that, oh, if the constructive method doesn't work, it it is okay to resort to using a combative method. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the reason why you have to be like that sometimes is because if not, people are not adequately forewarned about the dangers of getting recruited into these cliques. Now, I know I'm saying two different things, but what I really mean is that if people go around trying to hide cameos because of their exclusivity, because they're rare, they try to get into that mindset, and then over time it manifests into, I caught the most, like the rarest cameos, I am a better bus enthusiast than you. And when that happens, they have like a higher likelihood of getting recruited into these rogue cliques, and they empower the cliques empower this kind of behavior, and then these people that are newly recruited, they continue with said behaviors, and it keeps spreading again and again and again and again and again to more innocent bus enthusiasts, and they get affected by it as well. And I have seen this happening many times. That's why when I am combative towards other people, I am actually trying to forewarn about the dangers, them about the dangers. And I would like to take this time to apologize to this user for being very harsh on them back then. Because back then they were like constantly typing rare cameo, this is rare, this is rare, this is rare, and from history, I know what happens to these bus enthusiasts. They have a very high risk of getting recruited into that rogue clique of bus enthusiasts, again, which I'm not gonna name, otherwise I am breaking the no doxing boundaries. But basically, they kept commenting rare, and I was very harsh on them. So again, I would like to sincerely apologize for that. Nowadays, they actually make comments that make sense, and I'm happy for that. Happy with that, I mean. But I need people to understand that my main intent of sounding a little bit combative and trying to send a message across, albeit coming off as combative, it's specifically to prevent these people, especially around the ages of, like, let's say 12 to 14 or 15, where they are the most vulnerable, and when somebody gives them bad advice, they're gonna stray away. I have seen that happening before. Like, before getting recruited into those cliques, these enthusiasts were actually very nice and very decent. But after all this like bad influence and stuff, they change for the worse. I have seen that happening before. And for those of you who think, and I completely understand like, why am I a little bit harsher towards like the neurodivergent people? Because I want them to at least build some form of like critical thinking. If not, they would be unable to protect themselves later on in life if you don't help them develop such skills. And it starts all the way from like, even the simplest things like bus route amendments, bus planning. If they are unable to explain certain things properly, they are unable to like state their stance, be unable to argue or defend if like let's say a proposal A is bad, proposal B is good. If they're unable to do it at that stage, this increases the risk of these vulnerable people being exploited by the rogue bus enthusiasts who often say like, rare cameo, please hide it, please gatekeep it, stuff like that. So if anyone is genuinely curious as to why, this is why I do it. Like why I tend to be just a little bit harsher, but I don't want to cross boundaries or anything. A little bit harsher towards people who are on the spectrum. I just don't want them to end up like this. But on my part, I could tone it down. Because I have witnessed, like online, not in real life, a 39-year-old male who is married, who has a kid, who constantly takes advantage of young people or even young people on the spectrum, recruiting them into this giant group, like WhatsApp group or something, I don't know, taking advantage of them and empowering all their toxic behaviors. I mean, I just gave you evidence. If you happen to know who that is, good for you. That's as much as I can say without crossing the no doxing boundary. So my response to all this is that I have no issues with people documenting stuff in a different manner, and I explained that my friends don't even have YouTube. They snap for their own enjoyment, or they prefer to live in the moment, like actually enjoying the cameo. And sometimes they give me footage because they think like, okay, this deserves to get showcased on YouTube. So I didn't force them. I didn't ask for them. They just gave it to me on their own accord, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to either credit you or put you as anonymous. And I have also explained that the groups I'm referring to are the ones who clout chase to the core and turn this entire hobby into a mess, which is objectively true, harassing other enthusiasts and even bus captains resorting to control car just to achieve their group's own selfish motives, essentially, endangering both the bus captain and other commuters when they do their control car shenanigans, like making the bus park awkwardly, change lanes abruptly, turn in a certain manner that is unnatural, just so that people can snap. Yeah. And this is the exact same group that gatekeeps photos and makes it hard for others to access them. Like, let's say you want to find out if a cameo has happened before or stuff like that, and this people hides it from you and makes it hard to search. So that's the reason why I say, hey, you should post it on YouTube. It's a publicly accessible and it's easy to search as well. You don't even need an account to search for things on YouTube, whereas Instagram, it repeatedly prompts you, hey, please create an account, stuff like that, and even Facebook also. But YouTube is pretty much open. You only need an account if you want to make videos or comment or like, share, whatever. But like, I mean, I'm just explaining to you why I have the right to state my preference for YouTube documentation. If it comes across as like offensive to you, then I'm sorry about that, okay? And I even explained to them that even if it comes off as somewhat abrasive, you need to win more people over to combat the gatekeeping, because as I've said, clearly talking to them nicely never works from experience. How this account wants to react to it, well, I have nothing to say. I've already stated my point. And okay, this thing, it's like if you have like the rarest cameos on earth, but you're like kind of snobbish, you don't want to share it with other people, it's not really helping with their own understanding. I know you're not obliged or entitled to share, but here's the thing. It's only self-serving and it's not helping other people. I'm just stating this as an objective fact. And I even said, I called you nameless and faceless because I found it suspicious that you made an account hours ago back then just to vehemently disagree with someone stating objective facts. Now here's the thing. I stated that because in case I was too harsh against that guy, I state why I did certain things in as a matter of like I just said it in like as a matter of fact in a matter of fact way. I am literally owning up or quote unquote saying sorry to for calling you nameless and faceless. And then this part over here, like the bottom part, I've already explained myself just now. So again, I just say things as a matter of fact. Like I don't intend to like offend you or anything to that extent. I'm just saying what I truly think. And then even after I sort of said sorry to him for calling you nameless and faceless, he suddenly started getting very abrasive as if he wants to evoke a reaction out of me, which I kindly gave it to him. I showed myself at my most toxic, like basically at maximum toxicity. I showed myself in front of the entire world. I literally gave in to him in that sense. But okay, basically he's saying, I talk about clout chasing and accuse people of hiding information. Now, I didn't accuse them. This is objectively true. I have experienced it before. But have I even bothered to check the platforms where the info is actually shared? Yes, I have. Just because it's not handed to you on a silver platter, in this case on YouTube, or posted on your preferred channel doesn't mean it's being hidden. That's a baseless assumption, and frankly, it's on you for not doing proper research before jumping to conclusions. Now, if we break down this paragraph, keep in mind that usually such accounts, they happen to be troll accounts or what, but I'm not going to assume. Usually, they try to win against you purely using words and not because they have like more experience than you or something along those lines. They are just simply trying to leverage on the fact that, hey, I may be an hours ago a 5 hour account, but I have the right to critique you, which is not wrong. It's just that you cannot blame me for being suspicious of a 5 hour account that in the later part of this conversation admits to using ChatGPT for these responses, whereas I have been natural from the start to the end. Now, I'm not trying to make this account look bad. I am just clarifying myself. That's all. Because they are talking about you refers to me. And then, but have you even bothered? You also refers to me. So this paragraph, yes, when you see it, it's all words, right? But there might be a hidden intent of them trying to pin it on me for being lazy. And because I feel emotions, I took it as this 5 hour account is trying to say I am lazy, even though he's not actually like, outright stating the fact that I'm lazy. He's trying to break it down as to why I could potentially be lazy. Because when you read like that entire comment thread, he's always leveraging on assumptions, and that I have no valid proof, even though I have to respect people's boundaries. Because take a look at the later part of this paragraph. So just because it's not handed to you on a silver platter or posted on your preferred channel doesn't mean it's being hidden. That's a baseless assumption, and frankly, it's on you for not doing proper research before jumping to conclusions. Now, I am not a linguistics expert, but basically what he's trying to say is that this you and this you in the first sentence is referring to me. But when he says you and you here, it's more of a general statement, and he's technically, in terms of words, not trying to accuse me of being lazy. He's just using you because it's a subject marker and it's more convenient to say it that way. Keep in mind, these accounts, maybe some of them have admitted to using ChatGPT, are trying to trap you when it comes to wordplay. Now, again, I've said I feel emotions. I thought this guy was calling me lazy for refusing to search because his paragraph really came off that way. Technically, that's skill issue on my part. And I am literally admitting to everyone that I am indeed skill issue. Because there is one way to objectively read a sentence, and there is also another way to emotionally read a sentence. Is it like the ethos and pathos? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but correct me in the comments. And it's not just this part of the sentence. If you read further down, it really sounds like as if he is trying to, you know, well, why am I wasting my time responding to one user? It's because you guys deserve full transparency about my own toxicity. Like, even with like the whole technicality on like the way words are phrased or stuff like that, when you as someone who understands emotions read this, you could clearly see he's trying to evoke a reaction out of you. And again, as I've mentioned, I gave it to him. Like, I just want to see how he responds. So he comes up with, who am I to decide who's clout chasing and who isn't? So I told, like, in my subsequent responses, I told them that I knew these people's identities, right? Just because someone puts in effort to document rare appearances or share their passion online doesn't automatically mean they're doing it for attention. I mean, okay, right now I am responding to the rogue cloud chasers who hide information. I'm not talking about decent bus enthusiasts who take the effort to either snap or film and post it on their respective social media sites. I was in no way responding. I was in no way referring to that, and I don't know how this even came across as that to him. People want to snap. People want to film. They are not the kind people who aren't part of like the rogue group of cloud chasers. I have never ever said anything bad about them. I am clearly referring to the cloud chasers, even though subtly, I'm referring to them. Those people who understand how I do my videos, just saying things subtly and make people connect the dots would know. I document stuff myself. I know how much effort it takes. I have seen people who just stand in one location for like less than 10 minutes. They rush across the divider they cross the road illegally. But we're not going to go into that because let's face it, everyone has done that before. They go to the divider and then they choose to snap photos. And when the photo doesn't turn out good, they start getting very thuggish or just shouting, like, I don't know how to say it. It's like, "Aya, fail shot," or something along those lines. I'm not good with English, I'm sorry. And then, because they're frustrated, they start blaming it on other vehicles. They start blaming it on other people who had nothing to do with sabotaging their shot or anything. Then I was like, okay, why not you take a video instead? You could take a video and then you could choose from the millions of, I don't know, you can choose from the many frames to use it as your photo, especially if you have a 4K video camera. Doesn't necessarily have to be like 60 FPS, it could be 30 FPS as well. But it's like, I have seen these like people being very thuggish before. That's all. I understand they're teenagers and stuff like that, but come on, man, like this behavior is just not acceptable. Blaming other people for you not being able to snap properly, that's like, I don't know. So technically, even when it comes to like the effort that goes into proper documentation, some people put in more effort than other people. But then those people who don't even really try and complain about their fail shots and everything, personally, again, on a personal front, I just think they really need to get a grip. And I am not assuming these people, many of them, they really do it for clout. Am I supposed to just leak out their entire conversations for the world to see to prove my point when I'm supposed to respect people's boundaries? The no doxing rule? And basically, I admit whatever I'm saying is like kind of negative, right? But He's saying at least come with facts, not assumptions based on incomplete or outdated info. See, here's the thing. A 5-hour account at that time, or maybe a days old account at that time, comes at me with all of these assumptions, and then it's like, no matter how hard I try to like justify, hey, I am not able to break those boundaries, and I say it quite subtly as well, this account is like, say their names out, not assumptions, based on incomplete or outdated info. The reason why said info appears to you as incomplete or outdated is because, again, I need to respect these people's boundaries. If you happen to know who these people are, good for you. I'm just subtle about things. I've explained this before. This part, I have mentioned before, so I don't want to repeat myself again. Hopefully you all can actually understand where I'm coming from. And then this subsequent part about me allegedly backtracking, this part, I have to be subtle about things. I don't know if you read the entire you read the room wrong or something. I'm explaining to you guys, I need to be subtle because of this rule that I squared in red. And honestly, when it comes to this, I could even say you, anonymous account, don't know how to read between the lines. So I am telling you more information, so please read between the lines, taking whatever I have said previously into consideration.